All right, good afternoon, everyone. This is Ethan Baldwin. Thank you for joining us today for an opportunity to discuss the fourth quarter rate filings for small group health benefit plans.
Yeah, I don't feel.
Ethan Baldwin, and I am a health policy advisor with the Oregon Division of Financial Regulation, and I'll be moderating today's meeting. Today, we will be discussing the filings submitted by insurers for small group health benefit plans renewing on or after October 1, 2026. Under revised statutory regulations, the division is holding a public meeting after the proposed decision has been released to insurers. During today's meeting, we'll hear from each insurer about their filed rate increases, including any cost drivers that may have contributed to the request. We will then hear from division actuaries who will explain the review that occurred on the filing and the division's decision. Before we get started, I'd like to give division staff who are on the call today an opportunity to introduce themselves. Go ahead.
Hi, my name is Tasha Sizemore. I am the Life and Health Product Regulation Manager with the division, and I will turn it over to Drew Buck.
Hi everyone, my name is Drew Bucks. I'm a life and health actuary with the division.
Kirsten, do you want to go next?
Hi, my name is Kirsten Anderson. I'm one of the two deputy administrators here with the Division of Finance.
Tim?
Yeah, my name's Tim Hinkle. I'm one of the actuaries here at the division.
Michael?
My name is Michael Sink, Life and Health Actuary for the division and one of the reviewers for these filings.
Hunter?
Hi, Hunter McClure. I am the project manager for the rate review.
And then I think TK, that leaves you.
Yeah, good afternoon, everybody. TK Keene, Insurance Commissioner. Thanks.
Thank you, everyone. Now we will hear from insurers about their rate filings. We will move through insurers in alphabetical order and ask the presenters for each insurer introduce themselves at the start of their presentations. So we will start with Kaiser.
Well, sorry, I tried to put myself on camera, but it looks like you're just going to see a nice scenery in the background because it's not picking me up for some reason. But I'm Luke Hampton. I work for Kaiser Permanente. I am the attesting actuary for the small group Q4 filing. So we requested an average rate increase of 7.6% with a minimum rate increase of 5.1 and a maximum rate increase of 10.5. This is 1% higher than the Q4 rates that were previously approved in the annual 2026 filing. The driver of this request to change is due to higher emerging trend than we are seeing for 2025. So it's a small bump, but we started seeing some trend a little bit higher than we expected. So we're asking for the small increase in the fourth quarter. Our rates do not vary by geographical area. This will impact 11,215 members, and this is a quarterly filing. So this increase is basically the same across all plans, a little bit of a difference just due to rounding, but we're not requesting any plan level changes. Obviously, we're not discontinuing any plans or adding any new plans with this filing. It's just a simple 1% additional rate increase across all of the plans for the fourth quarter.
Thank you. Next, we will go to Moda.
All right. Hi, my name is Alex Vanos. I'm one of our managers of actuarial, and my team does all of our ACA filings, including Oregon Small Group and this fourth quarter rate filing. And then got a second representative, Matt. I'll let him introduce himself here.
Hi, yep, Matt Cozine. I help Alex out with the small group ACA filings.
I've got a slideshow, so let me just a short one because I know we said keep it to like 5 minutes. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, again, Moda Health Plan here to discuss 26 Q4 rates, and got this first slide is a little breakdown. So we did an annual, we did a second quarter, and then we did a fourth quarter, which is not the norm. Kind of a big reason why this we can point to this being not a norm for us, and kind of one of the drivers of it is we went from 6,000 members up to over 20,000 in the last few years. So we've seen a lot of growth. And so some changes, some actual versus expected changes are have been emerging. So I've got kind of a breakdown here. So the top line, our average rate change in the annual was 11.7. And then the average went up for second quarter up to 18.5. And then now we're sitting at a 28.2 for fourth quarter. That second line shows our annualized rating trend. So in the rate filings, we're using 2 years of trend. So seeing emerging experience coming in higher than expected. Really the driver of that second quarter increase is we took our rating trend up 3%, which has about a 6% impact on rates because we're using 2 years of that. Risk adjustment at that time, some small change, but pretty similar between second quarter and the annual. So second quarter was really emerging experience, a trend adjustment. And then with some later runs of risk adjustment projections, we've seen risk adjustment flip from a slight receivable to a pretty significant payable. And so there's some other things as well that got updated with the fourth quarter rate filing, but that was a big driver of the increase between the second quarter and the fourth quarter being higher. And then let's see if I can get my little bit of a lag there. Okay, here's just kind of highlighting our emerging experience. So the experience period index rate, that's kind of the starting point for all the projections that take place in the rate filing. And so the bold and the boxed cells, those are actuals. And then the other cells are what we would have projected for these different experience periods, projection periods at different points in time. And so like when we did the annual, we're using 24 experience. And so if we trended that forward a quarter, we're expecting 717. We got 732 is what the actuals were. And then for the experience period that we're using for the fourth quarter filing, when we did the annual, we would have expected 743, about $20 PMPM higher at 763. So that's another of the driver of the second quarter and the fourth quarter rate filings being higher than the annual. And then kind of the last major component, we had a 3.9% morbidity adjustment factor was used. And so this really reflects what we're seeing on our Moda block emerging between 24 and 25. It's also in some of the risk adjustment reporting from CMS, and we work with Wakely to get estimates of 25 risk adjustment. And so we've seen that shift, and that's why even though we're seeing a higher morbidity population, we're seeing that at the statewide level. And so that's why our risk adjustment is a payable, not a receivable. So we're not seeing an offset there because Moda's morbidity is going up, the statewide morbidity is going up. Risk adjustment is a net zero transfer at the statewide level. So we try to not overreact to this. So we are assuming some of that trend moderates, but we also based on the statewide enrollment shrinking a little bit, we do think some of that is going to continue into 26. So that was just putting it all together. A big driver of the fourth quarter increase being higher than the annual or the second quarter was risk adjustment, a little bit of emerging experience, and then the last piece, this increase in morbidity. And that's the end of my slide, so I'll pass it off to the next carrier.
Thank you. Next, we'll go Pacific Source.
Hello, my name is Benjamin Shea. I'm one of the actuarial managers with Pacific Source. I also have a short slideshow to share. If I get that up. All right, I'll assume you can all see it unless someone stops me and tells me otherwise. So Pacific Source is requesting an average rate change of 18.1% for Q4. And this will impact groups renewing only in quarter four. The highest increase that a consumer might expect to receive based on this request is 24.1% in rating area 1. The main driver of this request is an increase to the medical and pharmacy trend assumptions based on more recent claims experience, as well as worse than expected claims experience from what we had to work with based on our Q1 annual filing. There are no other changes to plan offerings or network or covered benefits made with this filing. And for any questions, there's some contact information on this slide.
Thank you. Next up is United Healthcare, Inc.
Let me share my screen. Can you see my screen?
Yep, we can see it.
Thanks. Good afternoon, everyone. First, thank you for the opportunity to present today. My name is Rong Wu, and I'm here on behalf of United Healthcare Insurance Company and United Healthcare of Oregon. We are presenting our proposed rate change for the Oregon small group market effective for the fourth quarter of 2026. This is our meeting agenda today, and starting with our product portfolio, we are not proposing any changes to the products we offered in the market. So the same plans that are available today will continue to be available. Additionally, there are no benefit design changes in this filing. The covered service, and the plan design all remain the same as what we approved in the Q1 rate filing. And similarly, there are no network changes proposed in this filing. Now let me work through the rate changes request. This filing is submitted by United Healthcare Insurance Company for the Oregon small group market. The average annual rate increase we are requesting for the fourth quarter is 26%. The range of the annual increase across all plans is 22.8% to 30.5%. When we look at the rate change relative to the previously approved Q1 rates, the incremental change is 7.5%, and this change is applied uniformly across all the plans. Regarding our quarterly trend assumption, there is no change from the prior filing. The annual trend remains 10.4%. In terms of member impact, this filing affects 1,161 subscribers, representing 1,908 total members as of December 2025. Finally, there are no new or discontinued plan in this filing relative to Q1 filing. Our total plan remains 20 plans. Since our Q1 2026 refining, we have revised one rating factor, the base rate. The base rate adjustment is driven by an update combined medical and pharmacy claims trend assumption. So that is to better reflect emerging cost and utilization for the projection period beginning October 1st, 2026. And that concludes the presentation for the United Healthcare Insurance Company. Now let me transition to our second legal entity, United Healthcare of Oregon, and its Q4 rate filing for the small group market. We have the same meeting agenda as United Healthcare Insurance Company. And starting with the portfolio, United Healthcare of Oregon's Q4 filing includes 2 standard plans in the market. There are no proposed plan design, benefit, or network changes. And this filing is focused on the rate adjustment. The filing entity here is United Healthcare of Oregon. For the Q4 2026, we are requesting an average annual increase of 30.1% with a range of 29.7% to 30.5%. Relative to Q1, we request a 7.5 increase. And a few additional details. Our quarterly trend remains the same, and annual trend remains 10.4%. This filing affects no members as of December 2025, and there are no new or discontinued plans relative to Q1 filing. The total number of plan offers is 2. And next, rating facts. Since Q1 filing, United Healthcare of Oregon has updated only 1 rating factor, the base rate. And this concludes the overview of the United Healthcare of Oregon's Q4 rate filing. And I appreciate your time and the considerations. Thank you.
Thank you, insurers, for the information on your filings. Now we will hear from the actuaries to discuss the actuarial considerations for each filing. Tim and Michael.
Thank you, Ethan. I'll introduce myself again. It's been a while since the beginning. My name is Michael Sink, Senior Life and Health Actuary for the division and one of the primary reviewers for this filing. Tim, would you like to introduce yourself again?
Yeah, my name is Tim Hinkle. I'm one of the actuaries here, and I was primary reviewer on 2 of the filings, and then secondary reviewer on the other 2.
All right, so I'm going to go through these filings as a total, and then if Tim wants to add anything filing specific on the end, I will give him time to do so. We've reviewed all of these filings. These are quarterly filings, which I want to explain a little bit of the difference from our normal annual process. These are filings that are rate changes to the existing filings. Every carrier must file their rates effective 1/1, and last year those were due in May. This year they will be due in June. But those filings for small group include rate increases for first quarter, for second quarter, third quarter, and fourth quarter. These are fourth quarter filings, meaning that these rates will overwrite what has been already approved. So there's already an increase out there. We are only reviewing the difference between what we have already approved and what they are requesting now. There are 3 major categories that we review for all major all health filings. And this is true for quarterly and for annual filings. We look at the data for the filing, that the data is appropriate and sufficiently credible. We check the assumptions to make sure that they are reasonable and not excessive, that their projections going into the filing year make sense to what we know with the company, with what we know with the marketplace. And the last thing we check is that the calculations are accurate and follow actuarial standards of practice. That's the high level overview of our rate review program. For the quarterly filings, we do a specific check on anything that has changed from previously approved rates. So if the factor has not changed, we do not review it again. It's already been approved. That said, all filings have requested increases based on one of 3 categories here, which is that the experience has gotten worse, that the population has changed since the initial filing, or that their pool morbidity is getting worse. And that's can be seen in trend, that can be seen in an additional morbidity factor. But these are the three things. They have not changed anything with their rating factors for areas, for plans. These are simple rate increases due to deteriorating experience. We reviewed these filings, not only individual, but as a group, and we grouped them with all of the original filings and all of the second quarter filings we received a few months back. And we checked them with what's happening in the small group marketplace. There is significant concern from both the filings and from external sources that trends are increasing and that these are considerable problems. And we have found nothing on any filing that puts them out of alignment with these observations. So they all seem to be reasonable and not excessive as far as assumptions go. The data does support that costs are going up as well. These filings are only fourth quarter, whereas you can get 4 different quarters of rates for first quarter. This fourth quarter rate is only for October, November, and December renewals. Anybody renewing January or later will have to check their rate increase requests come June, as those are posted. However, anybody looking at them today can get a good feel for the additional increases that they can anticipate in filings that are literally due 2 months from now. So take a look at those. You can look into the future and see that we've got a lot of these same questions we're going to be addressing in just a few months. We are approving these filings as filed. And Tim, did you have anything else you wanted to add?
No, I think you did a really good job. So I don't think I have anything to add.
Okay, thank you.
All right. The division will release the final rate decisions within the next few weeks. We'll open this up to any public comment. Is there anyone from the public who would like to comment? All right, seeing none. We did not hear from any consumers today and have not received any public comments on these filings at this time. Insurers are required to notify impacted groups of rate changes at least 30 days before the change. The filings discussed today apply to plans renewing on or after October 1, 2026. The Division of Financial Regulation Consumer Advocacy team provides free, confidential help to Oregon consumers facing problems with regulated insurance companies. To reach consumer advocates, you can call 888-877-4894 or online by visiting dfr.oregon.gov. Thank you, and that concludes our meeting today.